I thank the member and call the member for Leppington.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise today to speak on an issue that, if not corrected, will affect the lives of hundreds of thousands of residents in Western Sydney, South-Western Sydney and the Blue Mountains. That being unnecessary additional late-night aircraft noise. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very aware, as is my community, that when a new 24-hour airport is built, with that comes aircraft noise. We understand Western Sydney Airport will be a boon for the region. However, this issue is about fairness and ensuring Eastern Sydney's problems aren't dumped on the West. Kingsford Smith Airport is constrained by a series of frankly bizarre and archaic rules that restrict the time and frequency of flights. The curfew at Kingsford Smith Airport is born out of an aircraft noise dispute of the 1990s, a remnant of an outdated local political dispute that no longer reflects modern reality. This curfew, established in 1995, restricts flights between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. However, a limited number of domestic flights and early morning international arrivals are allowed between 5 and 6, as are a dozen or so overnight freight flights. Crucially, these flights are required to operate over water, meaning they don't disturb residential areas. With the opening of the new Western Sydney International Airport, the Federal Sydney Airport Curfew Act of 1995 mandates that the exceptions relating to freight, propeller and small jet aircraft will cease to apply at Sydney Airport. Instead, these will be rerouted overland, over homes and the communities of Western, South-Western Sydney and the Blue Mountains. This means an estimated 15 additional nighttime flights, 11 freight and 4 passenger, that will operate over these residential areas every single night. In 2023 alone, there are about 5,000 such flights operating under the curfew at Kingsford Smith. Once WSI opens, these flights must be rerouted, flying directly over communities in Western Sydney. It's estimated that by 2055, more than 100,000 people living across Western Sydney, South-Western Sydney and the Blue Mountains will experience additional noise disturbances on at least 200 nights per year. In areas like Silverdale, Warragamba, Luddenham, Wallachia and Mulgoa, up to 10,000 residents will be affected by nighttime flights for as many as 292 nights a year, effectively every single night of the year. Hundreds of thousands of people will have their sleep disrupted and their quality of life diminished, all because we are unable or unwilling to address a political headache from the 1990s that should have been solved years ago. This isn't a minor inconvenience. Studies have consistently shown that sleep disruption due to noise pollution can lead to long-term health problems, including heart disease, cognitive decline, and mental health disorders. Yet again, Western Sydney is being treated as a dumping ground for Eastern Sydney's unwanted problems. Western Sydney International Airport will be transformative for our region, creating jobs, driving economic growth, and providing much-needed infrastructure. We are eagerly waiting for the opportunities it will bring. But let me be clear, we will not accept WSI becoming a dumping ground for issues that should be resolved elsewhere. We deserve better than to have our quality of life sacrificed for the sake of the political expedience of the inner West. This issue was recently raised at a Senate inquiry into aircraft noise at WSI, and it's clear that the current policies are not working for the people of Western Sydney. Only 2 other airports in Australia have curfews, Adelaide and the Gold Coast. But even there, modern, quieter planes are exempt from curfew restrictions, which is something that should be seriously considered for Kingsford Smith. So, what is the solution? It's clear that we need to amend the Sydney Airport Curfew Act of 1995. The curfew should allow Sydney Airport to retain its overnight domestic freight flights and early morning international arrivals. Should also allow modern aircraft with higher noise standards. This would help more fairly share the noise burden across the entire Sydney basin rather than dumping it all onto Western Sydney during the night. Additionally, we must remove these outdated requirements to use specified freight aircraft that are not subjected to modern noise standards. We should introduce a uniform noise performance standard that reflects advances in aviation technology and the use of more efficient, quieter aircraft, as they do at Adelaide and the Gold Coast. This is not a radical solution, it's simply a solution that reflects the modern realities of modern aircraft. It is also about fairness and equity. It's also about ensuring the growth and development of our region come with protections and considerations that our communities deserve. I've written to Federal Transport Minister Catherine King calling for a review of these outdated laws, and I urge everybody in this Parliament to consider the impact of nighttime aircraft noise and back this issue.